Hello, Aubrey. How's it going today?
Hello, Lindsay. I am great. I have a question for you.
Yeah, I'm
Do
ready.
you live near any grocery stores, any
I
in
do.
walking distance?
I do actually. I have two
Oh,
or three of them in walking distance. Yeah, I'm lucky
lucky. I
that
had
way.
one in
Yeah,
walking distance in New York, but not here
yeah,
in Phoenix.
yeah. Different geographies, different types of cities, right, Aubrey, that are laid out differently.
Yeah, this is interesting. I use the word near. Do you live near any grocery stores? We're talking about the difference between near and nearby. This
Hmm.
came up in a recent episode. Stay to the end. We'll share details. If you missed that one, you can
Yeah.
definitely listen to these out of order.
Yeah, this is one of the differences, near versus nearby, that I think our listeners might wonder what is the difference or get confused or maybe get frustrated if they're not quite sure, right?
Yeah, it does seem strange. It's really about the grammar because they basically have the same meaning. They're both
Hmm.
about proximity, right? They both mean
Yes.
close.
Yes. Okay, that's important to know. They both mean the same thing, the
Yeah.
proximity, close. But the grammar is kind of different, which is what we're going to get into today. But before we get any deeper, guys, hit that follow button if you love All Ears English. Our style is to focus on human connection in everything we teach you. What does it mean for how to connect? Hit follow because that's our style, and we want you on board as a member of our audience. All right.
Absolutely. All right, let's dive in here. I think we'll start with this key difference, sort of a pro tip. The
Yeah.
main difference is that near is used as a preposition, but nearby is not. It really
Okay.
cannot be used as a preposition, or the grammar is incorrect, sounds really off. So that's a key takeaway. The tricky thing is kind of recognizing in a sentence, is this being used as a preposition or an adjective or an adverb? That's a little tricky.
Yeah, so it can be used in three ways, right, Aubrey? A
Yes.
preposition, an adjective, and an adverb. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. So let's see how
Right?
it looks when it comes to a preposition. What does
Yes,
that
and
look like?
both are used as an adjective and an adverb, both near and nearby, but preposition only near can be used as a preposition.
Okay, good to know. So here's some examples in the preposition bucket here. So
Yes.
the first one is the beach is near my house, right? We would
Right.
never say the beach is nearby my house. I mean, you might hear a native speaker say it, right?
Yes.
But
You could hear someone say this. It's a very common error, but we recommend using near. That's the
yeah.
grammatically correct option.
Yeah, let's get this one right, right? Good stuff. What
Or
would be
he parked near the entrance to save time. Same thing. We wouldn't say he parked nearby the entrance to save time. Like you said, some regional dialects, that might be more common. It wasn't in mine. There were a lot of grammar mistakes that were common
Yeah.
in my regional dialect. This wasn't one of them. I didn't ever hear
Interesting.
this.
Interesting. Okay. So how do we know if it's being used as a preposition, Aubrey? How can we
Yeah,
know?
so this is interesting. It will always be followed by a noun or a noun phrase if it's a
Okay.
preposition. For example, near my house, near the restaurant, near the hotel, near London. These are nouns that have either, a possessive pronoun, an article, so it makes it a noun phrase.
I see. Prepositions are usually about kind of orientation to the next word, right? A little
Exactly,
bit.
right? And so
Yeah.
all of these nouns are a direct object. That gets a little more complicated. Maybe we could talk about direct objects on another episode, but it's
Sure.
easier, I think, to just think of it as needing, it will always have a noun or a noun phrase after it.
All right, good. Let's go into the adverb bucket, right? We're changing buckets, jumping to a new bucket. The other
Yes.
way that near is used is adverb, 2 out of 3, right?
Yes.
So what does this look like, Aubrey?
Yeah, so both near and nearby function as an adverb, and when it's used as an adverb, it always means not far away. So nearby typically describes location. For
Okay.
example, there aren't any gas stations nearby.
Or her dog will stay nearby, right?
Yes, and near can also describe location as an adverb in the same way, but it's much less common. You could say the dog stayed near while we talked, right? In the US, we would be more likely to say nearby, but it's grammatically correct to say near as well.
And what about time? Can near be used to refer to time?
Yes, right? And then it would mean soon or almost.
Okay.
And this is interesting. We do not use nearby for time in this way. Nearby is really just about location. But with
Yes.
time, we could say, as the deadline drew near, everyone got nervous. Or
yeah.
a chunk that's really common. What is it, Lindsay?
Yeah, you might hear this in movies or famous books. The end is near, right? I feel like so many movies these days are post-apocalyptic, right?
It's true, right? Or Stranger Things, if anyone's been watching that. I think that had 1 billion people streaming it on Netflix and crashed Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
and I
that's
understand
popular.
why, because it was a very entertaining show, I think.
Interesting. I haven't watched that. I should see that one, but everyone
liked
likes
it.
that. I know. Yeah.
Especially for someone who's Gen X, because it was all 80s. It was very much what we grew up with, right? So it's pretty fun.
Good stuff. Okay, Aubrey, we're back from the break. Now there's a third bucket for near, which is an adjective use. So tell us about this one.
And as an adjective, nearby is much more common than near. They both grammatically accurate, very possible in a sentence, but you'll hear nearby more. For example, we can go to a nearby beach, or they didn't move to the area due to pollution from a nearby factory. So that word is an adjective describing the noun that's directly after. A nearby beach, a nearby factory.
Yeah. And do we use near in chunks, like common chunks, would you say?
Yes, right? Yeah. So near is not as common, but it is in these chunks like near disaster or near future, for example.
Yeah, I've heard those chunks for sure. For example, oh, that was a near disaster. And this could be used if you almost knocked over a wine glass on a white rug, or it could be something bigger than that, right? An actual near disaster. Right?
Exactly. Or I think AI will be everywhere in the near future. So these chunks we will use near, but there's only a few of them. And then we don't use near very much as an adjective in other sentences in other contexts.
Perfect. All right. So we've made it super clear the 3 buckets, right? The ways that these words are used or not used. So now let's see how it looks in a role play, Aubrey. Shall we dive into it?
Perfect. Yes, you and I are reminiscing about our college towns in this role play.
Oh, fun. Okay. All right. And then we'll have to have a real conversation about it after the role play.
We'll see if any of this is accurate.
All right, here we go. I loved my college campus. There were so many things to do nearby.
Oh, I wish I had gone to college in a beach town. It would have been amazing to spend weekends at a nearby beach.
True, but then getting decent grades would be an uphill battle. I live near the library, and that was probably really helpful to my grades.
Good point. Well, in the near future, I hope to live by a beach.
Nice. How was your college town, Aubrey? How was
it?
The
was
town?
like a ski town, mountains and snow, no beach anywhere to be found.
No beach, for sure. No beach. My college town was
What about
boring.
you?
Yeah. There was nothing going on. It was really isolated. So the campus was really a bubble, and I hated that. Like, I wanted to be exploring the world. I did not want to be in a little bubble campus. I almost transferred to a city school like BU or George Washington, but I stayed. And, 4 years of college is such a short time in the span of your whole life. So I'm glad I stayed. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. It's crazy how different everyone's college experience is depending on where you went, what the town was like. Yeah. So what you were studying. It's always a great connection topic to ask someone about, like where they went to school and what it was like. It's always interesting.
Oh, it's always a really good topic for sure. So let's break down our use of near and nearby here. So I started by saying I loved my college campus. There were so many things to do nearby. So Aubrey, is this an adjective, adverb, or preposition?
Yeah, so we know it's not a preposition because only near can be a preposition, right? But it's an adverb, modifying the verb to do. It tells where those things are, right? Nice. These adverbs say where or how, and in this case, where, nearby.
Yes, love it. All right, then what did you say?
And then I said, I would have loved to be spending weekends at a nearby beach. And it's an adjective here describing beach. Where is the beach? Nearby.
Yep. And then we dropped it in as a preposition. I said I lived near the library, right? So describing the location, the proximity to the library. And
exactly. So it's followed by a noun phrase, right? The library, near the library. And we can't use nearby. We don't use it as a preposition.
No. And there's a bonus in here, uphill battle. Love that one.
Yeah, for something to be really difficult. And it's true. If my college town were near a beach, getting grades would have been an uphill battle for me.
Oh, forget it.
I would have been at the beach all the time.
Like if you had gone to college in Miami or something, come on. Yeah.
No, I'd probably failed out. And then I said, well, in the near future, I hope to live by a beach. So an adjective here in that chunk, in the near future, just meaning soon.
And I think the more English we consume media, movies, music, we hear these chunks, right?
Yep,
So those are going to be the easiest ones that'll come the most naturally for our listeners.
Exactly. Absolutely. So for the episode that inspired this one, scroll up and check out 2543. Go out of your way for these English direction phrases.
Nice. So Aubrey, what's our takeaway? I mean, when it comes to talking about proximity, and what does it mean for connection in English?
Yeah, this is interesting because this is a pretty minor error. Don't stress too much about whether you should say near or nearby, but it is interesting. It comes up so much in conversations, you know, when you're talking about what's close to what, you know, what about proximity. It's interesting.
Right. So this could tie into so many of your conversations around connection. So just thinking about bringing up interesting topics like we discussed, where'd you go to college? What did you think of the college town? That's a great one. And then let these near and nearby words kind of come up as you talk about location and proximity.
Yes. And like you said, Lindsay, the more you are taking in English, the more it's just going to sound right and feel right, which you should use near or nearby because you're hearing it used correctly on podcasts, on TV shows.
Love it. Good stuff, guys. If you love our style here on All Ears English, hit the follow button right now so you don't miss a single future episode. All right?
Awesome.
All right. Good stuff, Aubrey. I'll see you next time. Take care.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.